Good morning, and welcome to the GRCC Early Childhood Lab Preschool groundbreaking. What a beautiful day for this. We ordered it just for you. My name is Kathy Mullins, and I have the honor of serving as the Vice President for College Advancement at Grand Rapids Community College. This is a very exciting day for us here at GRCC, but especially for our early childhood faculty, staff, and families, as I know this event is a dream come true for them. It is wonderful to see so many GRCC friends and supporters today, and I would just like to take a minute to recognize a few of our special guests. First, I would like to recognize the GRCC Board of Trustees in attendance today. Would you all please stand or wave and be recognized? Next, I would like to recognize the GRCC Foundation Board members in attendance today. Would you also please stand and be recognized? We are also very fortunate today to have several elected officials in attendance, and I'd like to recognize those as well. Could you, all elected officials, please stand or wave and be recognized? In addition to the elected officials, I would also like to recognize representatives from Rockford Construction and Stantec. These are the firms that will be doing the lion's share of the work for this project, and we're very glad to have this partnership with them. Can I have you just wave, Rockford Stantec reps? Thank you so much. And finally, we have some very special guests with us today, guests without whom this groundbreaking ceremony would not be possible. We are blessed to have many amazing friends and supporters in this community, and the individuals and organizations I am about to introduce to you now have made this early childhood preschool lab a reality for not only GRCC, but also for our community. Please help me welcome the following donors. From the Fry Foundation, we have Steve Wilson and Lynn Farrell. Mike and Sue Jandernoa are here with us today. And from PNC Bank, we have Sean Welsh and Maureen Hale. Thank you all for supporting this important project. We are blessed to have you as friends and supporters of GRCC. Now it's time to introduce you all to the president of Grand Rapids Community College. He is the man that has spearheaded this project and gave it life and legs. Please welcome to the podium, Dr. Stephen Ender.
Thank you, Kathy, and good morning, everyone. Kathy failed to point out that they only gave me one job for today, the weather, which I think I came through in amazing style. This is a project that we've been working on, at least in my mind, for about 6.5 years, because I went to our preschool in Fulton very shortly after I arrived. The faculty invited me. I was there about 5 minutes and figured out why they had invited me. A great facility if you're not trying to operate a lab school along with a preschool. Just no room at all. But the most striking thing that I remembered, and my wife always was rolling her eyes with me. So in the classrooms there, the bathrooms are right there off of the classroom. And this is like Sunday school stuff, right? And we're using it. And I looked in there, and then I looked at these little children, and I thought, so who holds them up? You know, their bottom will no way be able to, so we've got to change this facility. Truly, I just felt like, come on now, this isn't what we're doing. So you have no idea the honor for me on behalf of GRCC and our Board of Trustees to welcome you this morning as we start an exciting new chapter for our laboratory preschool. We're breaking ground today on a new facility that will serve two very important distinct populations, and those are the students in our Child Development and Education program, about 200 who use the lab school every semester as their laboratory site experience. And then, of course, our youngest learners, these children you see to my right, along with infants that are now in our facility. And those would be two really good reasons to build this new school, but we have a third that's incredibly important to us. With this groundbreaking, we want to expand our work in the space of early childhood education. The facility is being especially designed to be a community hub. It will allow us to bring early education resources to families and caregivers in Grand Rapids neighborhoods, providing support to their efforts to prepare for children. And that support is just not coming to us. I mean, we want to reach out into these neighborhoods and into these child care centers and meet grandmothers and mothers that are running their own little facility in their home that with some more credentialing would make their activity in some ways recognize the state to the opportunity to offer sponsorships for children with the dollars that have been put out there by Governor Snyder to support early childhood education. So we do want to be an outreach as much as people coming to us. Kathy mentioned some folks, but it's important for all of us to note that many individuals and organizations really have played key roles in making this a reality. They include the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, the Fry Foundation, the Amway Foundation, the Jandanoa Foundation, the Douglas and Marie DeVos Foundation, the Kate and Richard Walters Foundation, and the PNC Bank Foundation. I cannot tell you, folks, how grateful we are to you, and for those that couldn't be with us today, for your support. Without that support, this would not have happened. So this has really been built on the shoulders of our community, and our college is very grateful for that support. So I have an exciting announcement to make that I shared earlier with our faculty at our opening convocation. Our new preschool will take on a new name with its new beginning. To honor the former faculty member who started this program in 1974, Professor Phyllis Fratzke. Phyllis, a Grand Rapids Junior College alumna, began her career here in 1968 as an interior design instructor in the Home Economics Department. She began the college's child development program in the early 1970s to address the needs of women who were re-entering the workplace after having children. Her next challenge was the lack of a high-quality child care center or centers and preschools in which to place her students. She worked with First United Methodist Church. They were adding a wing on at that time, and she was able to obtain space in that new space for Monday through Friday, and then that was a Sunday school space during the services. The preschool then opened in 1974 with one classroom of 3- and 4-year-olds. Under Phyllis's leadership as department head and chair of the development professor, it grew to include an infant room, a toddler room, and 3 preschool classrooms. Our laboratory preschool is one of the first to be recognized as an accredited program by the National Association for the Education of Young Children. Phyllis began the tradition of excellence that our child development program carries on today. We are proud to have her name on this building and so delighted that she could help us mark the next exciting chapter of our preschool program's future. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce Professor Phyllis Fratzke. Phyllis? Please.
Thank you. I'm really not that short. What a great day. Needless to say, I'm very emotional. But I'll try to get through this. They wanted me to say a few words about how the preschool started. Actually, there were 3 things that came together all at the same time. First of all, in the late 60s and early 70s, there are a lot of students returning to JC. JC to me, okay? Returning to JC, and particularly women with young children. And Ann Mulder was the Dean of Women at that time, and she found in counseling these women that their biggest problem was to find care for their children while they attended classes. Well, I was teaching in the early childhood program, so I said, okay, I'll help you do this. Well, there were several reasons I wanted to help. First of all, that's exactly what I did. I came back to JC after I'd had 1 year at Cornell, got married, had 3 children. I came back to JC, and my biggest problem was trying to find care for my children while I attended school. So I was very willing to help with these, trying to find spaces for these children. But it was a big problem, trying to coordinate their schedules with the preschools and nursery schools that we had in the Grand Rapids area, and transportation. A lot of the centers were located places that was not convenient for these people. Well, at the same time, in the early 60s, late 60s, and 70s, there was a lot of research being done in the child development field, and particularly in the first 5 years of life. And it was not just the physical development, but the intellectual, social, emotional development, and how all of this affected their children, and interaction skills with other people and the environment, and how all of this contributed to their life, their later life. Well, a very important part of the child development program is actual hands-on interaction. So I had to find places for all of these students that were returning to the college to do their lab work. So I had a dual problem here. I was trying to find spaces for the students to do their lab experiences with hands-on experiences. I was trying to find places for the children to attend classes. And it was a major problem. Those of you who know and love Ann Mulder as I did realized that when I went to her and told her my problem, she said, well, Phyllis, there's only one solution. We've got to start our own. It's got to be a campus preschool. So we spent the next 2 years visiting college campuses that had drop-in centers, that had preschool programs, and a few of them that had lab programs. And we kind of cherry-picked what we liked of those facilities. We prepared budgets, we did equipment needs, and we put all of this together in a proposal. And we presented it to Frank McCarthy, who was then head of the college, and got the approval of the Board of Ed to proceed. Excuse me. Well, then a very, very fortunate thing happened. The First United Methodist Church, as Steve said, had just completed their educational wing, and it was a beautiful facility. And they called us and asked if we would be interested in leasing part of their building. Well, certainly did. And all of this gelled. So in August of 1974, with a director, 2 teachers, and 23 children, we used 3 rooms on the first floor of the church and started our preschool. As our reputation grew, we enrolled more children, added staff, and leased more of the rooms. And the enrollment of adding more children was not just students of children of college students, but staff took advantage of this, and we started to involve a lot of community people. Then Patty Trukowski came on board, first as a teacher, then as a director, and under her guidance, we added 2 very vital parts to the preschool. We increased the program from 9 months to a 12-month year. So instead of following just the college calendar, we met the needs of the community. And also, she started the infant toddler program, which prior to that time we were licensed from 2.5 through 5, and this enabled us to be licensed from 6 weeks through 6 years. And then Becky Brinks joined the faculty in 1984. As the first teacher of the infant toddler program. And as you know Becky, most of you here do know Becky well, you can imagine what all she did for that program. She started the adult-child interaction classes, she started the early reading first, and she's on the NAEYC board, and she's primarily responsible for all of the new programs that are going to be held and as a result of this new facility. We now have a staff of 15 people full-time and 10 part-time staff. We have an enrollment of 80 students that accommodate about 120 families. There are well over 200, almost 300 children in the child development program, or students, I'm sorry, in the child development program. And we have about 75 from other departments like the health departments that also take classes and do their lab work at the preschool. The preschool now leases the entire educational wing. We have room in the basement for a kitchen that we utilize. We use storage space in other parts of the church, and we've used every square inch of that facility that was available to us. Speaking of the staff, 8 of them have master's degrees, and all of the rest of them either have bachelor's degrees or associate of art degrees. So it's an extremely well educated staff. And it's a very consistent staff. 5 of the people that were on the staff, 4 of them are still, that were my students back in the 70s and 80s, are still at the staff. Cheryl, Liz, Paula, and Penny are still teaching at the preschool, and they have been here for almost 30 years. Kelly was also one of my students, but she retired 5 years ago. Jane Ann Benson is now the director of the preschool, and she has done an awesome job in staff development, training, community outreach, in all areas. She's truly made this a model program. And as Dr. Enders told you, the child development program and preschool are both nationally recognized, and we were the first program in the state of Michigan to receive a 5-star rating. And today, thanks to the vision and commitment of Dr. Enders, Kellogg's Foundation, and other donors, we're starting a new facility that will make the early childhood education program even more community-centered than it has been, and a brighter future for the children in our community. And needless to say, this is a very, very emotional day for me. It's something that I started over 40 years ago, and my dream finally came true. Thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis. When I first came here 30 years ago, I was a little intimidated by Phyllis. As you can probably already figure out, she's a very determined woman, and she held us to the highest standards. Now I am the program director for child development education. My name is Rebecca Branks, and I thank her daily for what she established for us and the legacy that she's left us. She provided a clear vision focused on the importance of providing high-quality lab experience for, as she told you, both our college students and the children in our community. She has just beautifully articulated how that vision has grown over the first 40 years. Shortly after arriving here, President Enders became fully engaged in that vision, and he has worked tirelessly to share that vision with many of you and to make this possible today. Now, where did he sneak off to? Which direction is it? Thank you, Dr. Enders. We're just so happy with the support this college has given us. There is an African proverb that is often quoted in the early childhood field. It says, "It takes a village to raise a child." I am so grateful to be a part of this village, starting with Jane Ann Benson. Jane Ann, stand up a minute. Jane Ann has put her heart and soul into this lab and is so inspirational as a leader, not only in the lab and the community. Just keep standing. I'm going to ask you to wave, because not everybody can stand, because we're going to build a wave going here. The hardworking lab, preschool, and child development faculty and staff, including our new community liaison. Where are you guys? I want you waving. And keep waving. We're going to give your arms a little workout. 40 years worth of child development students. Where are our students? Alumni and families. Keep waving. We're going to build a wave here. So if I've said your name, keep waving. The many people that make up the GRCC community, and that includes faculty, staff, administrators, too many groups to name, all of you who are on the front line, behind the scenes, people like class who has done such a wonderful job showcasing our college. I see so many faces out there. All of you guys wave too? Our Child Development Advisory Committee, where are you guys? See some waves? Our many early childhood partners. I see some of the directors of centers in our community. Community leaders, donors, where's a wave? Progressive A&E, who guided us through important conceptual design work. Stantec A&E and Rockford Construction. I know there's a few of those guys here. You guys wave too. Who really have worked with us tirelessly over the summer and are helping to make our dreams come true and become a reality. Our local and state elected officials. Where are you guys? I saw some. And finally, our future, the heart of our village, right up here in front of you, the children and families we serve, some of whom are here playing in the sand. That's what it really is all about. It's funny, somebody asked me how we were going to get the kids up here and who would invite them up, and I said, I don't think it's going to be necessary. They'll see the sand, and we're definitely going to have sand on the new playground. A little over 10 years ago, as a program, we became involved in 2 Early Reading First grants that totaled over $7 million, involved 10 years of really hard, challenging, and rewarding work and collaboration with many partners in the city, including Grand Rapids Public School, Head Start, and some faith-based programs such as United Methodist Community House and the David D. Hunting Downtown YMCA. This experience really was instrumental in helping us to expand our village to really encompass the city of Grand Rapids. Our vision in the last 2 years was moved forward and brought into focus through different community groups as we brought together over 250 diverse people from throughout the community to help us to shape what our goal and our vision for the future is. They started with a goal, and I'm going to read you this goal: to construct a new laboratory preschool on the GRCC campus that will become an internationally recognized premier center of excellence known for innovative, high-quality education, nurturing diverse learners, and positively impacting our community. Wow. It's very impressive and sometimes from my seat a little bit daunting. But what does that mean? And already President Enders and Phyllis have told you some of the things that are in our vision, so I'm just going to recap a little bit. The new lab preschool built here in the heart of Grand Rapids will extend our role in the education of area preschool-age children, especially targeting vulnerable children and families who are most at risk for educational failure due to factors such as high poverty, racial disparities, and linguistic isolation. It will help us to further strengthen partnerships with programs such as the Early Learning Neighborhood Collaborative, led by Dr. Nkechi Eze. Stand up a little bit, Nkechi. No, stand up, because I also want to brag, because she is a proud GRCC graduate. This is a program that works next door to us in our neighborhood and is already working hard at many of these goals that we're hoping to expand on. A primary function of the facility, of course, continues to be to serve as a laboratory to our college students and to give them that important experience as they earn degrees and certificates. We want them to be able to do, as we've seen many students do, take that experience and put it to use in our community. It is critical that this educational experience works to address current and emerging challenges in the early childhood field, such as social justice, the need for quality infant and toddler care, improving teaching and learning in math and science, and attracting and mentoring more diverse teachers. And that's just to name a few. We have many challenges. In addition to student education, this facility will focus on delivering scientifically based, pedagogically sound professional development in early childhood education to teachers and caregivers throughout our community and throughout the state as we partner with different training organizations and higher ed institutions. Finally, we look forward to providing support to parents and family and friend and neighbor care that many children in our city are in to help them to best meet the educational needs of the children in their care. I want to thank you for being here on this beautiful, great morning with us and being a part of our village and being here to help us break ground and take the next steps towards this very important vision and make it a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky, and congratulations, Phyllis. Now is the time and the moment that we've all been waiting for. We need some people to come forward. We're going to hand out some shovels and get this groundbreaking going. All right. Looks like we're all in place. What do we have to do? On your mark, get set, move that dirt.